Marie, welcome back to my channel. Today I've got a layout process video for you, and this one is for Lottie Loves Paper, so it does class as an advertisement. Today I'm using the Simple Stories Heart collection, and I'm going to scrap that little picture of my little boy holding his little comforter. We called it a Roo. It's Roo from Winnie the Pooh, and he absolutely loved his little Roo when he was little. I wanted to try something different on this layout. So what I'm doing right now is I'm going through all the ephemera from the Simple Stories Heart collection and finding all the hearts. I think I've pretty much picked out every single one that there is from the chipboard and from the sticker sheet. But what I've also done here is I've used a sheet of Mylar, which is like the material that is used to create stencils. And I have used my Cricut and I've cut out some hearts I think it's in a 5x5 square in all different sizes, and I'm going to use some acrylic paint to stencil these down onto some plain white cardstock. Now I haven't gessoed the page because I know I'm not going to use any water, and the acrylic is not that wet, so I didn't feel I needed to on this particular one. There's no kind of blending or anything, I'm just literally pushing the paint through. I'm using a little makeup sponge. I saw this tip somewhere on some sort of scrapbooking group somewhere to use a makeup brush for sponging, and it's really effective. It works really well and gets you a nice crisp image. So I'm just dabbing small amounts of black acrylic paint through those hearts. I don't use the full width of the stencil that I've made. I use just part of it, and I think I do it those 2 times there, and then a little bit more at the bottom and a little bit more at the top. I really enjoy making my own stencils. I love using bought ones as well, but I've been enjoying making my own recently. I've made quite a few different ones. You might see some on other videos that I've got on my channel. So I'm just putting the last few hearts there at the top in the black acrylic, and then just peeling it off. And I think, yeah, I just stick an extra little one in there. It just felt a bit empty at that side, and I wanted a couple of extras in, so I fit those in there. I then go to the gold paint, so I've let that black dry. I didn't want it to smudge, but I do use the gold in a different way. I don't use nearly as much, and I only choose random hearts to do. And what I do is I overlap them over the black hearts. So I'm just choosing specific ones that I want to stencil through. So you can see there I've just overlapped them slightly. And then it's just a case of choosing where I want it to go. Because the acrylic paint is not too wet, I can safely move my stencil around without worrying that I'm going to end up with extra bits of gold paint where I don't want them. So I'm just trying to decide where to put them and which bits I want extra hearts, and I just keep going backwards and forwards, overlapping, putting extra hearts in where I feel there's a gap. I was making my own stencils previously, just using some spare cardstock that I had in random colours that I would never use, and then I discovered this material that you can buy. Now I did get mine from Amazon, and I think it's called Mylar. And it's just a plasticky material. You can get it in different sizes. You can get A4, you can get 12x12. At the moment I'm just messing around with the the A4 size. And there we go. I'm really happy with the layering of the hearts. So now what I'm doing is I'm taking my white, it's a Uniball Signo white pen. I know there are lots of white pens out on the market, but I've found that the Uniball Signo ones are the ones I prefer using, and I think give the best results. So on certain hearts, I don't do this on all of them, I do an outline, and on some of them I put little dots, and I don't want them all, I want some of them just to be plain black. So just put a little bit of detailing in on some of the hearts there, and I also use that white pen to tidy up the edge of just a couple of them where I've had a little bit of bleeding going under that stencil. And that's pretty much it. There's my photo back. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to pop all these hearts back on. I wanted the idea on this one of lots and lots of overlapping of hearts. So some of them are obviously the ones I've painted on the page, so they're flat to the page. Other ones are 3D because they're chipboard. And later on, when I go to stick them down, I do put some on foam, and I do stick some down just flat to the page. So now I'm just going to use some of the paper from the paper pack. I bought the full collection pack. And of all the papers, my favourites are the black papers, definitely. There was a black stripy one that I've used in a previous layout. Now that's just a bit of washi tape from my stash with some gold spots on. I thought that fit nicely with the rest of the layout. So now I'm just playing with the other papers that I have. And I do get quite creative here because I like the stripes, but I don't have any of the stripes or particularly any of the dotty paper, but I don't really want flowers on this one. So I'm just a bit cheeky here and just cut little strips off and stick them behind. I do think I'm going to put that in there, and then I think I actually put that back and I don't end up using it. So these cut apart sheets are really good. You don't necessarily have to use the whole piece. I certainly don't. As you see here, I'm just cutting strips off and just popping them down the side of the photograph. So it's a really economical way to use your papers. You don't have to fill the back of the photo. You can just pop little strips in, and it just gives the idea that it is all the way across, but it doesn't necessarily have to be. So I've backed that photograph there onto some vellum. I do like putting my photographs on vellum. It gives a softness to them. And then I'm just going to pop this. I've put that little stripe on the side. I'm going to pop it on top of the heart paper there. It is that one with the gold hearts on it is embossed. It's beautiful. So I'm going to put some little spotty paper at the bottom. And I'm going to attach that piece of washi tape along the bottom as well. And I and ah about that other bit of sticker there, but decide not to use it. And decided instead to put some more of the gold spotty washi tape that's just from my stash along the top there. Very happy with how that's turned out so far. So then I'm just going to put some adhesive foam on the back of my photograph to pop it up off the page, and plenty of double-sided sticky, which is a pain to peel off, but need plenty of it just to make sure it sticks. And there we go, just sticking that down. And now it's just a case of popping some adhesive foam on the back of that heart. Now that heart's going to overlap the photo, so I only put adhesive foam on half of it and just double-sided sticky on the rest. Otherwise the levels wouldn't be quite right. I'm just sticking an extra little bit underneath there to make sure it's got plenty of support. And then that word heart goes underneath. And then I just start playing with the placement of these hearts. I don't want to lose any of them necessarily. I do want you to be able to see all of them. And I think sometimes it's just nice to play with ephemera and moving it round and deciding where it's going to go. And then when you're happy, to stick it down. I think the difficulty with that is if you've got loads of things layered on top of each other and then you have to move them all to stick them down, and then you end up losing where you've put things. Thankfully that's not the case here. The ones I've got aren't too overlapping, so I've not ended up having to try and remember where things went. Sometimes what I do if I have got lots of overlapping things is I just take a quick picture with my phone, and then I just keep referring back to that as I'm trying to stick it back down. Or you can be really brave and stick it down as you go, but that all depends just how brave you are with your scrapbooking. Yeah, so what I'm doing now is I'm just going back through the sheet and I'm looking to see if there's any more pieces I want to use. I think I do find a few more hearts that I'm going to pop on there. And also I do have a look to see if there are any of those phrase stickers that I want to use, but in the end I decide not. And I do find another couple of hearts, I think, that I just stick on. I'm just checking through. I like that little tag there that says love, just to pop under the corner of my photograph. I do look through the other ephemera and I decide I think there's enough on there. I'm enjoying the white space on this, but that's a lot of white space for me. I don't do lots and lots of white space, so that's quite a lot for me. So what I'm doing now is I'm using a small set of stamps that I bought. They were ever so cheap. I don't even know where I got them from, but they look like typewriter, and I write the word my, and I realise that I've done it wonky, and I've stamped it straight onto the cardstock, and now I'm a little bit disappointed with how it looks. So now I'm trying to work out if I can cover it up or do something else. So what I do is I get some white cardstock out, and I stamp the M and the Y until I'm happy, and I then cut them out and make them into little tiny squares, which I'm then going to stick dimensional pads behind and stick them on top of where I've already stamped the my. Just this time I'll do it straight rather than wonky. So you can see it there, and I'm just going to pop a little bit of the pads on the back and stick them down. Anyway, that's it for my layout. I hope you enjoyed this process video. Thank you ever so much for watching. If you did, please give me a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel, and I will see you again soon.